All right, now some NFTs are already using smart contracts in a great way. And welcome to That NFT Podcast. My name is Kieran Headley. I'm your host. Today we're speaking about smart contracts. What are smart contracts? Where do they come from? How do we use them? Why are they such a critical part of NFTs and the blockchain? How are they implemented in business already? And how can they be implemented in business in such a way where they can increase your profits, they can increase efficiencies, and they can decrease costs? We're going to speak about that. So let's do it. Smart contracts, all right? Now, first of all, what's mind-blowing is smart contracts actually came to be 12 years before Bitcoin, okay? They came to be in 1997. That's when my sister was born. Nick Szabo, a computer scientist, invented this technology, so it's very fascinating. But for us to actually understand smart contracts, which are basically computer programming in the blockchain, right? It exists on the blockchain, and it's some sort of computer programming or software that exists there. Now, for us to understand that, of course, we want to understand, just need to make sure my phone's on good off flight mode so it doesn't go off during this podcast episode. It's just like a normal contract, right? When you sign something, you sign a certain agreement, it's an exchange between two parties, right? There's an input and there's an output, usually, right? Or there's, a dualistic input of some sort. Now, to take it a step further, there are more digital style contracts, which aren't exactly smart contracts, but you already know of some, right? For example, Kickstarter and crowdfund are great examples of digital contracts, right? For example, say Movement is a great example. MVMT, they're a watch brand. I remember I owned one at one point, and I remember seeing every influence ever promoting it. But how they started was a beautiful story. If you haven't actually heard, if you're really into business and you're interested in startups, I highly recommend going and listening to Movement's startup story. Very fascinating, very inspiring. And they started through, I think it was Kickstarter. I can't remember now exactly which one they used. But what they did is they said, once we reach this many people that are interested, we'll start the watch company. And yeah, basically they're just simplistic watches, similar to this Daniel Phillip one that I've got, except Daniel Phillips only do one watch. Movement do a huge variety of different simplistic watches that are affordable for students, so they're targeting students, and they also looking clean as well. So they did this crowdfund, and a certain amount of people were keen on it. And once that certain amount of people were keen on it because they already invested their money, right? Now, crowdfund or Kickstarter got to decide if it reached a certain threshold, we will give the money to the team that is doing the Kickstarter so that they can build the product, and therefore they will send you the watch that you've just bought, right? Now, if they don't meet the certain threshold by the certain time frame, then Kickstarter or crowdfund will be like, okay, sorry guys, we're not passing the funds on to the team that's invested in the Kickstarter program. And all the money just goes and gets refunded back to all the individuals that wanted to buy and invest in this watch, right? So that's sort of how it works. Now, the reason why it's called a digital contract, not a smart contract, is because there's still a third party involved, which is Kickstarter or crowdfund. So we've got to say, if I was, betting on Movement, I'm like, okay, cool. Those are cool watches that I found on crowdfund or Kickstarter. I want to get a watch. I reckon it's freaking cool. So I buy one. Now, if it succeeds, that money goes through to them. If it doesn't succeed, that money comes back to me, right? But I've got to trust in crowdfund or Kickstarter in order for them to follow through with that contract of what they said that they will do. That's what I mean by there's a third party involved. Escrow is another example, right? So the way that various individuals or even business corporations will create agreements, and they'll create legal agreements around, if we do this, then you get that. If you do this, then we get that, right? Or sometimes it's involved between landlord and tenant, right? Where a bond might be held, and if there's a damage to the property, that bond it means that the agreement gets broken, so that bond gets sent straight to the landlord. And if the agreement is fulfilled, that they fulfilled their lease agreement and they didn't do any damage to the property, then automatically the bond will get returned back to the tenant. So that's essentially how these digital contracts are working. But again, we've got to then trust escrow, who is the third party involved in the agreement, that they're going to follow through and they're not going to take our money or do us wrong in any shape or form. So that's a digital contract. Now, a smart contract goes a step further, right? Because essentially now that it exists on the blockchain and it's completely decentralized, it's completely distributed. Distributed. Thank you. I've had a bit of coffee today as well. That might explain my average pronunciation going on at the moment. So it distributes the responsibility immensely, right? And because it's completely decentralized, meaning it's not owned by a person or organization in terms of what the third party is, it's a distributed third party, so it's not technically an individualistic third party that's in existence. It means that there's greater levels of trust, because now all we need to do is, if we can trust digital technology over, of course, unfortunately at this point in time, it sounds like we can trust a digital technology more than a human, then we're far more certain that this contract will be fulfilled, right? Now, there's certain things that that might be used, right? I'll give you some examples, but first of all, I'm going to just share with you the two main features of a smart contract. First of all, it's immutable. Immutable means it can never be changed. So once you've created the digital contract, whatever that might be, and I'll give some examples soon, it can't be changed, right? Once it's done, it's done. And it can't be distributed, okay? It is distributed, meaning if, say, and I'll give some examples soon of this as well, but if, say, we do the contract and one of us breaks the contract for, in some shape or form, and we try to get away with it, because there's so many people involved in that space, people will be able to see it very clearly, much more clearly than, because it's not a contract that's done under the covers, it's very surface level. People will notice this, point it out, and then it'll become invalid. So it's quite literally almost impossible to break a smart contract agreement because of that. Okay. So Ethereum actually was designed specifically to be able to use smart contracts in the way that it does. It uses a programming called Solidity. Solidity operates similar to that of JavaScript, right? Now, there's going to be different blockchain use smart contracts. Even Bitcoin has smart contracts capabilities, just not as much as Ethereum does. So yeah, there's a lot of technicalities that go beyond me when it comes to Ethereum blockchain smart contracts in terms of what they can do and all that sort of thing. But I'm going to do my best to share as much as I can here. Right now, some examples of the way that some random examples of what can be used and what are going to be used is banks can use smart contracts with loans and automatic payments, right? Insurance companies can use it for claims. Postal companies can use it to pay on delivery. So what I mean by that is you'll automatically be charged the moment that the package reaches your door. So when you've confirmed, yep, the package has reached my door, right, that money automatically goes to them, right? Once it's official that maybe the delivery guy, because they're the third party individual, has definitely delivered the package, or the package has some sort of GPS on it or something like that, and it's confirmed that it's reached your apartment, your building, whatever, then automatically the funds will go from your account to their account to pay for the postage, right? So that's just an example of the way the smart contract might be used. When it comes to, for example, automatic payments, yes, there's a contract involved already with automatic payments, but that's a digital contract, right? Because there's the bank involved. But the smart contract factor would be the way that it'll be between completely just two individuals, not three parties, right? So instead of it being between me, the bank, and the individual that I'm paying is going to be completely directly between me and the individual, right? So the bank's going to be taken out of the picture in terms of the way that they're taking responsibility for the management of it. So they're able to almost reduce the level of responsibilities that they have. So these are just some examples. All right. Now, some NFTs that are already using smart contracts in a great way, because all NFTs are essentially have smart contracts essentially. The reason being is because when I have NFTs in my wallet, it is essentially on a smart contract, indicating that I'm the one that owns these NFTs. That's an agreement, right? It's on the smart contract, and the smart contract of those particular NFTs I have are associated to my wallet. They're connected to my wallet. That is a smart contract. That's the programming that's existing. So that's what the smart contract is. So an example of this is VFriend. So I own a VFriend actually. It's called a Karma Kiwi is the token that I have specifically of VFriends. And VFriends, by just owning one of these tokens, I get completely free access to VCon, which is VConference, essentially, right? Now, VConference is going to be this 4-day business event that's just going to be a bunch of fun. I'm going to hang out with a bunch of business leaders that are super famous globally. I'm going to be able to play basketball with them, do competitions, listen to speakers in the NFT and crypto space, in the business space. And it's just going to be so much fun over those 4 days. And it's going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I'm actually going to be there next year. And we're going to be doing a podcast episode there 100%. So don't you worry about that. And I'm sure that I'm going to make it happen anyway, that this podcast is at a certain level so that, we've got some sort of social proof going on, and therefore we can maybe do something special while we're there. But I'm very excited to, especially for the YouTube as well, for those that aren't subscribed. Good old Selena, my friend and my assistant, has gone ahead and done a YouTube for this channel, and for this podcast. So you can actually head to YouTube and just type in that NFT podcast and you'll find us there. I think we've got 3 whole subscribers. Thanks, guys. Or 4. I think one of them is me. And it would be amazing if you guys could subscribe there. That'd be amazing. But we've got some cool exclusive stuff on video to come, so look out for that. Now, essentially what that means is only I and anyone else that owns one of the 10,255 VFriend tokens will get access to VCon. No one else. And of course, officials and speakers and all the rest that are running the event. But if I want to take a friend, they can't come unless I own a second VFriend or they own a VFriend. Now, this is going to run 3 years in a row, and then Gary's going to bring in other awesome affiliate and functionalities and utility factors for the NFT holders of his VFriend tokens as well. But for now, that's the main thing. Now, if you purchase one of his more sort of higher tier NFT tokens, one of them was called FaceTime 5. So 5 times a year, you get a 5-minute FaceTime call with Gary himself, and he's this high-end executive leader, owns multiple companies, with over $100 million. Incredibly successful man, and you can literally speak to him if you own one of these tokens, and he's got to go through and fulfill these. Now, if this isn't fulfilled, this could create a massive issue on the blockchain, where if the functionality, if the follow through doesn't occur. One, of course, the community will easily find out, because when someone speaks up, the community will hear. But 2, as well, there will be an invalidity that plays out if someone lets Ethereum know, essentially, like, hey, this isn't operated, this isn't worked out, and multiple individuals will be able to notice that, and then this will massively devalue Gary's project, essentially. But also, I'm assuming, this is just a pure assumption and speculation, that it would be very possible and practical for because there's been a break in the contract, that naturally the token will be probably returned to the owner, and the person will receive all the funds back or something like that. Something will play out anyway. There'll be a consequence for the lack of fulfillment on that smart contract that's been signed on the blockchain. So essentially, there's also Gift Goat, all right? Okay, now Gift Goat is another one of his VFriend tokens where 5 times a year he sends owners of gift goats free gifts, right? So he's literally doing the first one in a few weeks, I think. And like, no matter where you are in the world, he's going to pay for shipping and everything, and you're just going to get a gift, a random gift. You don't know what it is, right? There's also courtside cougar or something like that, which means that you get to, I think, twice or 3 times a year, go and watch a basketball game with Gary Vaynerchuk himself, as well as anyone else that owns a courtside cougar, which is only a few people in the entire world, right? So there's different things that you can do. I think there's werewolf gym goer or something like that, where or gym wolf or whatever it's called, and yeah, you get to go, of course, as the name says, work out with Gary and his personal trainer, right? So you get to do these cool things. Now that those are the functionalities as some examples that are playing out. What else did I put down? Also, I would love to speak a little bit about how it's going to be utilized in the future as well, and how it can be utilized. In terms of the with the future technology that's coming into play. For example, next year, Apple glasses are a thing, right? So, because they've already announced it, and they've already shown how it's going to work. It's pretty crazy, but essentially you're going to be wearing these glasses, these spectacles, and you can make your calls from the glasses. You can see the texts that come up. You can see Google Maps on the glasses, or Apple Maps rather, right? And you're walking, you see the little maps in the top corner, or depending on what you do with the eyes, can basically do different functions with it. So there's all sorts of things. You can look at something and it can assess it. If there's something on the wall that has some sort of functionality that's associated with crypto because of some QR code that exists within it, then I'll be able to see all the information come onto my glasses, right? Or it might pop out of the wall or something cool like that, and it'll do something cool just because I'm the one that has the Apple glasses on. Now, essentially, if there's a smart contract association with this thing that's coming out of the wall, right? Or this, for example, purely accessed building just for someone that owns a particular NFT project. For example, let's just make up a name, right? The Kiwi apes, all right? Just because apes are usually the more popular characters when it comes to NFTs at the moment. But also as well, I am Kiwi, if you didn't know that already, all right? Meaning a New Zealander. No, so the Kiwi apes, that could be my new project. And I did this awesome dance party, all right? And it was a bunch of mocktails, and you got kiwi fruit mocktails and kiwi fruit fruits and kiwi fruit lollies and all the rest, right? And a bunch of fruity people. And this is a party I was holding, and anyone could come in the world as long as you had a Kiwi Ape token in your NFT wallet. Now, how it would work is your glasses will automatically be connected to your wallet because you would set them up that way. And you would come to the building at the time that you're allowed entry in, and there'll be a specific time frame that you're allowed entry in because that's what the smart contract will say. And I would assign to the smart contract that between the hours of 10 to 12, you're allowed to come in, and then you can go out whenever you want, but you've got to come during those 2 hours. If you don't, you can't enter. And the door will only open if it can sense that that based on the connection it makes with your glasses, a Bluetooth connection, that you have a Kiwi Ape in your wallet. And it will know, okay, cool, this person's allowed entry, so the door will unlock naturally and you'll be able to go in. But it will remain locked so long as you don't have a Kiwi Ape in your wallet, or you don't have some way to connect and let this automatic door that will unlock or lock for you to open based on the fact that it needs to be able to connect to something to know that you have a Kiwi Ape in your wallet. But essentially, that's where the technology is going. Right. Now, the other thing as well is, say you walked into a store and you were a special member of the store, or you had spent a certain amount of money that year on the store, right? Or you had an NFT, right? More specifically, but this doesn't necessarily need to be NFT functions. This is just smart contract functions. But you had an NFT of that brand that owned the store. For example, Impact Theory is doing something like this, right? So I've bought a founder's token, and if you own one of the founder's tokens, which Tom Ballou of Impact Theory created as an NFT project, then he's doing a bunch of partnerships where if you go and shop at that store, you'll get discounts at that store specifically. So if I'm wearing my Apple glasses, I'll be able to see on the shop window, right? Just because I have an Impact Theory founders token in my wallet, it would automatically allow me to see something on the window saying 30% off, right? Because I'm an owner of one of these NFTs, so it'll automatically know that I can see these things on that shop window, right? Now, no one else would be able to see that. I'll say, hey, Bob, can you see that? No, they can't see it, right? Why? Because even if they had the Apple glasses on, just like me, if they didn't own a Impact Theory founders token in their wallet, they can't see it. I go in, the shopkeepers have their glasses on. They can see on top of my head that I own a Impact Theory founders token. They will give me priority in terms of how they approach me. They will also as well know that I get the discount, and therefore when I come and I'm buying some clothes or I'm buying some goods or whatever, all right, and I present the goods at the counter, right, I'll automatically, because the system that they're doing the payment through will automatically be able to do a discount, or say we might even be able to bypass that completely. And this is where labor costs of businesses will come down, as I'll literally be able to pick up items and walk out the store. And because these items, and by the way, Amazon is already doing this, by the way, which is crazy. This is already existing, where I'll pick up items and I'll just walk out. But what they're doing at Amazon at the moment is they're doing it through an application on your phone. But this will just be something that just purely exists as a so this is essentially smart contract stuff that's going on now. But this will be also NFT based as well, right? And I'll be able to walk out the store and it'll automatically charge my account, because my account will be connected to my crypto wallet as well. And it'll come out as cryptocurrency, whatever my preferred payment method is, if it's Bitcoin, if it's Ethereum, or even if it's USD, right? Or even NZD, depending on what I've connected. Now, I can walk out the store, automatically charge me, or automatically discount me as well. So these are the things that are quite literally happening very, very shortly and very quickly, which is crazy. Some other examples of how it can be create more efficiencies in your business is just the way that instead of a lot of certain administrational tasks that are going on that can easily be contracted into a smart contract, where if this, then that, right? That's essentially if this input, then this output, right? You can set things up in such a way where I'm sure smart contracts will be eventually connected to things like drones, right? So I'm sure you've heard of drones doing pizza deliveries. Well, this is a thing if you haven't heard of it already. But essentially, drones might say, you just need to make the pizza, but they don't need to deliver the pizza. So basically, actually, no, that's a terrible example because the pizza will go yuck. Let's just go with with a good that's not food, that won't go off in a day, right? Basically, people can just pack a bunch of these goods in these boxes, and when people make the payment or whatever through the system automatically tells X drone, hey, drone X, you're going to this address and you're taking this good, right? And they'll be on the smart contract, and then that drone will go and pick up that good, fly it to that person's house and drop it off, just like that, right? So these are things that, this is just basically a made up thing in my head. I'm sure it will happen, right? But ways that Amazon is already using it, as I was mentioning, is that you'll quite literally go into their grocery store, which is sort of like a Foursquare or sort of like a 7-Eleven, right? And you go in and you just pick things up off the shelf, but you've got to scan your phone to go in. The phone's app that you're scanning from is connected to your credit card or something like that. And you just pick things off the shelf. The store automatically knows what you're taking off the shelf and putting it into your basket. It's a special basket, and you just walk out of the store. And no, you don't even need to put in your basket, actually. Sorry. No, from memory, if I remember right, people are actually putting it in their pockets. You can actually go and search Amazon Smart Grocery Store. Right? If you go and search that, you can go find it. But people are putting like snacks in their pockets and stuff and just walk out, and Amazon will automatically charge them, right? And then they can even put them back and it won't be charged, but it's once they walk out of the store, whatever they've taken and held onto and walk out of the store with, they'll be charged automatically for that. But that's how smart contracts are going to be used more and more, and you won't even need to use an app to get in, because you'll have these Apple glasses connected to that, so you can just walk straight in and it'll automatically do that for you, right? So yeah, these are all things that are happening. These are different ways that you can use it. Another example is if your Apple Glasses are connected to your wallet. I want to send, and it doesn't even need to be your Apple Glass, it could just be a phone, but I want to send all my NFT holders text messages, right? Now, if my phone number is connected to my wallet, then automatically I'll receive certain text messages specifically for the holders of Kiwi Apes or whatever token that the project owners are sending messages out to, right? I could even, if we've got our addresses added into the our wallet and connected to our wallet, then they could send us special packages, right? So the way Gary Vee is doing it with GiftGoat is you've actually got to go onto the VeeFriends website and add your address there. But I'm sure it's going to develop very quickly, very soon, to a point where you'll be able to automatically just receive a gift without you needing to go on and put your address in, because your address will be already connected to your wallet as well. So these are some other ways. And yeah, the final thing I'll mention is the way that, I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook has changed its official brand name, meaning not the application itself. The application will still be called Facebook. But the brand name is now called Meta, officially, as literally as of today. Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that. And what this is meaning is that they're going to do a lot of stuff in the metaverse. Now, this is probably a whole nother podcast on its own, which we can speak about. But yeah, what's coming is, there's going to be a lot of smart contract implementations that mean that the way that if I own certain NFTs, or I will be able to access certain things within the metaverse, within Facebook's world that they've created, right? Because I'm sure that they'll create their own world within the metaverse space. I might be walking through the metaverse, right? And I have a gambling ape. This is I've talked about gambling apes in a previous episode. If you go to top investments under 0.5 Ether, you can that's an episode I did. I talked about gambling apes there. And if you own one, you automatically get a portion of the profits that a casino, the gambling ape casino in the metaverse, earns. And you get a percentage of that profit. Now, I'll get special if I owned one, which I'm going to buy one back because I sold mine a while ago for some profit. I'll get access to their a special room in their casino. Maybe it's like a private room that only I can access in the metaverse when I go into the metaverse with my character. And I go in there and I go into the casino, and maybe I get some free tokens that I can spend in the casino. And then also I get access to this room. But why? Because my character is still connected to my wallet, which is why in the metaverse as well, not just in real life, I get actual access in the metaverse to this room and these free coins as I enter the gambling app casino, whereas my friends do not, right? So these are all sorts of ways that smart contracts can be used, not just in real life, but in the metaverse and also with business as well. So hopefully that serves in some information wise for you guys. And sorry, I've been stumbling on my words quite a bit today. Again, lots of coffee, some brains sort of a little bit unscented. So we got there in the end though. Anyway, hope that helps. If you found this helpful, all right, please do us a favor, share it with a friend, or if honestly just take snippets or whatever and share it on your social. If you found it interesting, fascinating, this is happening stuff. This is real. This is happening now, which is so cool. But anyway, send me a message if you have some ideas of what you want to be done on this podcast. Just send me a message at that NFT podcast is my Instagram handle, or message me on Twitter. All right, give me a tweet, which is Coach_Keza, Kezza. Coach Keza officially is my main Instagram is my main Instagram profile as well, if you want to access me there without the underscore. But yeah, that's it, guys. Would do us a massive favor. You could subscribe. Also, reviewing and rating allows us to reach more people as well and grow the podcast. So with that being said, have a beautiful day, guys, and I will see you later. Much love.